Just when you thought it was all over, just when you thought the Knicks couldn't get any better, they get better. So, I just got home from work, and on my way home in the car, I got a notification that the Knicks have re-signed OG Anunoby to 5 years, $212 million, which works out to about $42 million a year. They own the rights to OG Anunoby, which is, I think, why they're able to do this. I think it could be the same thing with Hartenstein as well. But the Knicks, I guess, in the past 24 hours have decided that they're going to try to assemble the fucking Avengers. This is bad. I'm gonna call it what it is, man. This is really bad, like specifically for the Pacers. The reason it's bad for the Pacers is because the Knicks are loading up, and when you look at all the teams around us, it's like, yeah, we made a decent run in the playoffs because of most. I understand injuries are one of those things where you can't control them, right? Like, you can only play the team that's put in front of you, which I entirely understand. But the problem is now, you potentially go into next year's playoff run against teams that could be healthy. Now, granted, there's going to be some injuries. It happens all the time, right? But the problem is now, our Eastern Conference Finals appearance, right, sets the bar here. Like, this is what I was trying to explain in the Discord, is like, we're at a point now where our young guys maybe don't fit our timeline. And for, the one thing that everybody's been saying is you don't want the Indiana Pacers to be what the Atlanta Hawks were, where you get to the Eastern Conference Finals once and then you never go back again. But the thing is, I don't think that's going to happen to Indiana. I'm simply saying the Knicks are kind of starting to force our hand. I said this in the last video. It's like, yeah, they got Mikal Bridges, okay. And I thought that meant that was the end for OG Anunoby. I was like, the only reason they did this trade is because, like, they couldn't work out a deal with OG Anunoby. And then we get a fucking bombshell that's like, yeah, we're going to re-sign him for 5 years, $212 million. Mind you, they still have Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Miles McBride, Mitchell Robinson. This team is fucking loaded now, okay? Like it was one thing for Mikal Bridges, all right? If they bring back Hartenstein also on something I don't fucking know about, like they might be able to bring back Hartenstein. I don't know. I'm just looking at this and I'm like, bro, this is bad. Like, this is getting bad. Like, the Pacers are probably going to have to make a move. Don't get me wrong. I think Benedict Mathurin, because we had a long back and forth in the Discord after I made that previous video a couple hours ago, okay? We had a conversation in the Discord where we were kind of divided on Mathurin and, like, Mikal Bridges and how good Mathurin's going to be and all this other stuff. Mathurin's going to be a great player. Like, let's just get that out of the way regardless. Mathurin's going to be a good player. The problem is, every other team in the Eastern Conference is speeding up our fucking timeline if we actually want to be competitive. And what I mean by that is, look at all the teams around us, man. Like, Miami is always a good team. Regardless, like, no matter how they play in the regular season, if they get to the playoffs, they're a legitimately good team. Okay? Like, they step it up a notch. Milwaukee is still a good team. Okay? The Knicks just became fucking phenomenal. Okay? The Celtics are fucking phenomenal. And that doesn't even include, like, what is Cleveland going to do, right? The 76ers have pretty much every spot on their roster open except for 2 or 3 people, right? So now OG Anunoby's off the table. So now the big question is, where does Paul George go? Because the Knicks, like, I know we signed Siakam, and I'm going to be honest, we don't have a whole lot of cap space. We could renounce our rights to Obi Toppin and Doug McDermott, and it would free up a nice chunk of cap space. But what do you get now? That's the thing. It's like, what do you get? Like, don't get me wrong, the OG Anunoby contract is an overpay. It's an overpay for what he is. Like, he's a great player, but $42 million for a guy that's injured all the fucking time is just, I don't think it's worth it. That's just my opinion. He's a great player. But the crazy thing about the Knicks now is they can bring OG Anunoby off the bench and just alternate him and Bridges, and they will always have a great defender on the floor at all times. They got two of the best, like, not even 3-and-D wings in the game. They got two of the best wings in the game as far as all-around players on their fucking roster now. I'm looking at this team, man, and I'm like, what do we do? Like, what do we do as Pacers fans? Like, I understand there's, like, let's say this. They're going to start the season, I think, with the roster they have intact right now. Nembhard will be there. Mathurin will be there. But to me, the best guys in free agency right now that are, I guess, borderline star players are, like, Klay Thompson, DeRozan, Paul George, and Miles Bridges. That's what's left, because LeBron's going back to the Lakers. That's pretty much a given. But the free agency pool is shrinking, and it's shrinking relatively fast. Now, the Pacers could make a trade, but the thing is, like, I don't think the Heat are giving up Jimmy Butler. Brandon Ingram, he's all right. You know, how much better does he make us? I don't really know. But we're between a rock and a hard place now, boys. I mean, like, we got, like, at this point, I'm gonna bring it to you. We might want to go after really, really good role players. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I know, like, because I thought OG was gonna be, like, go someplace else. I didn't know he was gonna go back to the fucking Knicks. I was like, yo, like, it seemed like they were, when they made the Bridges trade last night, that OG was done. And apparently they're just, front office at the Knicks was like, fuck it, full send, you know? And this upcoming NBA season's going to be hard. I'm just going to let you know, it's going to be hard. The better these teams get, man, like, the harder it's going to be for the Pacers to be in that top 5 seed. And, you know, you look around, even Orlando, like, Orlando doesn't have, like, they have a couple, like, a handful of good players. But the Pacers, it's like we're relying on youth. And I think Mathurin's going to be very good. Defensively, there's some question marks. Even off his shot off the dribble has a little bit of a question mark about it. Nembhard played defense very well. Nembhard went to another level. Nesmith went to another level. So, yeah, like, we're probably going to have to run it back with what we got. But I know I'm just going to tell you right now, okay? Just mark my words. If the Indiana Pacers were already looking for a third piece after the Mikal Bridges trade, they're definitely doing something now that they signed OG Anunoby, because you're gonna, in the second round, you're gonna have to play fucking Boston or the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your sample size. It's like, who do you play in the second round? Who do you hope you can beat? The Knicks or the fucking Boston Celtics? So, for once, man, I'm at a loss for words. For once, I don't even know what the solution is. I'm like, at this point, you basically have to run it back and hope you can find some free agents that will help. I know a lot of Pacers fans have a love-hate relationship with the idea of Miles Bridges, but he's young. You can maybe get him for $20 million a year, and he's a starter level forward, small forward. I think Benedict Mathurin's going to do the same thing he did last season, like maybe start coming off the bench and then be a starter at some point in the season, or, you know, start and then come off the bench. I don't know, man. Jarris Walker's got to get minutes. Nembhard's got to get minutes. Nesmith's got to get minutes. Mathurin's got to get minutes. And if you're Herb Simon, right, like, this is the thing, like, I think most Pacers fans would be fine running it back with the team we have, and even I'm fine with that, right? I'm fine with that, but my worry with the whole thing is you just made the Eastern Conference Finals, right? If you're Herb Simon and you just paid Pascal Siakam $200 million and you get knocked out in the first round or even the second round, like, second round's a little more understandable, but let's say for whatever reason you don't make it past the first round, because these teams are going to be fucking good, man. I'm just letting you know. Like, Miami's a threat, okay? Philly, we still have yet to see what they're going to do. Boston's a threat, right? The Knicks are a threat. Orlando's a good defensive team. I mean, and I feel like I'm forgetting another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Eastern Conference is getting thick real quick, man. I mean, At least Brooklyn, Atlanta, and I mean, at this point, I think Atlanta's selling. Like, if I'm Atlanta, I don't see how you're not selling. But Cleveland could do something. But right now, man, if we're looking at next season, standings for me got to be Boston, New York, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Miami, Orlando, and Indy. Like, we're dead ass. Like, we're a great team, but we're looking real 6th to 7th seedish again. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the solution's gonna be, but I'm stressing. Like, now I'm stressing. I'm like, okay, it's one thing if you got Mikal Bridges, right? But now you have Bridges and OG Anunoby, and there's talks because they own the rights to Hartenstein. I think that they could bring him back. Like, I don't know, man. I don't have an answer for this one. Normally I have an answer, but I'm like, there's not enough free agents. There's not enough cap space. At least when you own the rights to players, it doesn't matter that you go over the cap to bring them back. But this is... The Knicks are assembling the fucking Avengers. Like, they are definitely rubbed the wrong way that we beat them in Madison Square Garden. So I don't know what the final result is, but I have a feeling at this point, Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan are right now brainstorming. Like, after this, at this very moment, they gotta be brainstorming something, man. They're like, we cannot get knocked out in the first round. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. If you make it to the second round, it's fine, right? But if you're the Pacers and you just made the Eastern Conference Finals and you get knocked out in the first round this upcoming year in the playoffs, it's not gonna look good, bro. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to look good. I know Pacers fans are fine with waiting for Mathurin and everybody else to develop, but the problem is making the Eastern Conference Finals, not even just amongst the owner and the front office, okay? Amongst the fan base, it raises expectations because that's the problem when you exceed expectations, right? And I said this. I was like, yo, I know we made the Eastern Conference Finals, but we overperformed. I said that like right after we lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. Good run. The experience was valuable, but like even Orlando, man. Orlando and Cleveland also, they got to be looking at this shit right now. Like, we got to do something too. Right now, it is essentially an arms race in the Eastern Conference. Who can come out with the biggest weapon next year? And right now, the Knicks are all in. The Celtics are locked in with what they got. The Knicks are all in, and the every team after that is looking for adjustments. I guarantee you, Dame and Giannis are like, yo, we got to get in the fucking gym. Like, the Miami Heat didn't have Jimmy Butler, which is not normal. I'm sure that's not really going to happen again. But honestly, like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if I'm the Pacers, if I can take a player away from somebody in the Eastern Conference, it's not going to be the Knicks, and I don't think it's going to be Boston, but if you can pull off a trade for a Jimmy Butler or somebody like that, I think you got to do it. Like, I'm not even going to lie. Any 3-and-D guy, like Cantavius Caldwell-Pope is a free agent, but you're going to need to do something about that defense. That's all I'm saying, man. Like, fuck everything else. Offense, I think we're fine with offense. Defense, though, defense and rebounding, we need to address. Like, if I'm Miles Turner, if I'm Ben Mathurin, if I'm Nembhard, if I'm Tyrese, if I'm the Pacers' entire fucking squad, I got to get in the gym this summer. That's all I'm saying. I got to get in the gym because I don't know, like, the money's only going to go so far, bro. The money's only going to go so far as to bringing guys in or bringing guys back. And I love Siakam. I love Tyrese, but we're going to need more. I'm starting to think, no, we're going to need more. Like, in the matter of 2 hours, I went from, yeah, we're going to need a little bit more to deal with, Mikal Bridges, bring me in a Clay. No, you can't even fuck with, like, Klay Thompson anymore. Like, now that OG Anunoby went to the Knicks, Tobias Harris, even DeMar DeRozan, it's like, how much is DeMar DeRozan even going to help us now at this point? You need to go after a big fish. Like, I'm just going to call it. If you're the Pacers, like, if you are being realistic of the possibilities of this upcoming year, Paul George and Jimmy Butler got to be on your radar. Like, I'm just going to call it, like, they got to be on your radar. Or somebody. I don't know who that other somebody is. Maybe Kevin Durant, because it seems like the Suns are trying to get rid of him. But even then, it's like, who do you trade? who do you trade for Kevin Durant? Aaron Nesmith, Nembhard, and Mathurin? Like, I like Kevin Durant, but I don't know if I like him that much. You know what I'm saying? The guy changes teams like women change fucking underwear. So, I don't know, man. It's wild. Like the Eastern Conference is officially like the wild, wild west. Like anything can happen. And what's crazy is we got 4 days before players are able to choose whether they're going to opt in or opt out of their player options. If Paul George opts into his player option, then we got to either, I don't know if we're going to trade for him. Like another guy that I was thinking about like before I ended the last year is Donovan Mitchell. Because I know like Cleveland's like fielding calls on Donovan Mitchell, but even like DeJounte Murray, it's like even these guys like yeah Murray's good, Donovan Mitchell's good, but it's like defensively like you need a stopper, and now the Knicks just got 2 of the best stoppers in the league on their team. OG Anunoby is great, and so was Mikal Bridges. Like, Mikal Bridges is a great defender. I don't give a fuck what he can do on offense. I know Jalen Brunson can play offense, but it's just the idea. Like, they got 2 lockdown wings. Like, lockdown. Like, put the clamps on your ass for 48 minutes, all right? Like, this is insane. What, like, the idea that the Knicks could have OG Anunoby coming off the fucking bench for $200 million? I'm like, what's their starting 5 going to be then? Are they going to play small ball? Like, I have to assume that's what they're going to do. They're going to play small ball. They're going to play Brunson, right, at the 1. Probably play, who else? I don't think DiVincenzo is going to start, but they might play Bridges at the 2, or Bridges at the 3 and OG at the 2. Then Randall at the 4 or 5. I mean, like, the possibilities are fucking endless. They could even do, like, Brunson, DiVincenzo, Anunoby, Bridges, and Randall. Like, don't get me wrong. I will say this. I think the Knicks are getting to a point where they might just have too many mouths to feed on offense. Like, you start after 3 superstars or really good star players, when you start getting into that tier of 4 or 5 all-stars, right? You start getting into that tier of I got too many mouths to feed, and like kind of like the situation that's going on in Phoenix. But I don't know, man. This is stressful. I'm not gonna lie. This shit is stressful. I expected the Knicks to make a move, but I didn't expect them to make OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges moves. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, like they got Bridges. That means OG Anunoby's done, right? He didn't even like the contract they sent him. Then they're like, yeah, you know what? They were like, I'm gonna break out my wallet, dog, and here's $212 million. So if you're a Pacers fan, dog, all I'm gonna say is pay a lot of attention in the next 4 days, bro. Like once that moratorium period ends, I think they can start signing contracts on July 6th. Siakam is locked in, but we gotta do a lot of soul searching in the next couple months. This was unexpected. This was very unexpected because I was like, yo, if they're like, that was the only logical reason I could see for them even trading for Bridges. I was like, okay, like OG Anunoby was unhappy. Fuck it. You know, like we're going to trade for somebody that's like a similar player. And then not even 2 hours later, OG Anunoby to the Knicks. I'm like, shit's going to get rough, boys. I was like, shit going to get rough. All right. So you better strap yourselves in because I don't know what Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan have up their sleeves, but they're going to figure something out. Just to let you know. Like, they're like, this is what I mean by the Knicks are forcing the Pacers' hand, is like they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. If you don't want to be looked at as like a flash in the pan team, now you gotta deliver. Like Mathurin's got to get in the gym, dog. That's all I gotta say. Mathurin's got to get in the gym. That's all. Like at this point, like it's looking like that's the play. You know, unless you get Miles Bridges and bring Mathurin off the bench. And I don't even know how much I even like that because I think Mathurin could be a really good player. And I think the more you bring him off the bench, the more you're just hindering, impeding his progression. We saw what Nembhard could do when you put the ball in his hands. And I'd like to see that for Mathurin. And I think Rick Carlisle after this in the front office, like, yeah, we're gonna have to give Ben the ball and just see if he can take us to the fucking promised land because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely insane. And there's not a lot of big I'm gonna be honest, man. There's not a lot of names out there in free agency at the moment that I think change our results a whole hell of a lot. But You know, KCP is still out there. Mikal Bridges is still out there. PG is still out there. Klay Thompson, even though I'm not overly thrilled about Klay Thompson's still out there. It's just DeRozan's still out there, but even DeRozan is like, you know, he's a great clutch scorer, but I'm like, is DeRozan enough? You know what I'm saying? Like, is DeRozan gonna be enough? Like, ideally, Jimmy Butler would be the guy, but I don't see Miami getting rid of him. I just don't. If the Miami Heat get rid of Jimmy Butler, like, they might as well just sell. They might as well just become sellers. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to trade Jimmy Butler, then you might as well get rid of Adebayo or something. Unless you trade Jimmy Butler for, I don't know who off the top of my head, but there's not many players in the league that I think are a whole hell of a lot better than Jimmy Butler. Like, and if they are better than him, odds are they don't want to trade for him, you know, or that player for him. Even though Jimmy Butler is very good defensively and offensively. I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. This is crazy. I'm just saying, like the New York Knicks are legitimately assembling the fucking Avengers, and we're just. It sucks because, like, we don't have a lot of cap space to work with, but this was a bombshell, and if they bring back Hartenstein, I already think the Pacers have to make a move. Okay, like after this, like after the OG Anunoby signing. If they bring back Hartenstein, bro, like we're like Herb Simon gonna have to break out. He might have to open up another bank account in another country or something. Like this shit is wild. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.